Have you ever had a problem with your car and you just couldn't figure out what it was? You try diagnosing it over and over and over again, up to the point where all seems lost. Alright, so this is my 1982 280zx, which was experiencing hard starting and no starting,
give it gas,
rough idling, rough driving, which started off intermittently and then became worse as time went on. I tried everything I could under the sun to fix the problem. I replaced the fuel pump, fuel filter, spark plugs, and everything else I could think of. And then finally, I discovered the problem. I opened up the air filter box, and inside I found a ton of fuel, which must mean that my injectors are leaking and the excess fuel is flowing down to the air box, causing a rich condition, and it was blocking the air from going to the intake. So today, we're gonna be installing brand new fuel injectors. Some of the experts are going to rush to the comments section and say, oh, why don't you try to refurbish or clean your current fuel injectors? Because I already did that. When I first got the car, I actually pulled the injectors out and I tried to save them. I tried to clean them up. Fact of the matter is, these injectors are probably as old as the car, which is like 30 years plus. Just going to spend some money and get some new injectors. All right, so here's the fuel rail, this brass U-shaped line thing buried under all this spaghetti here. First, I'm going to remove all the bolts holding down the fuel rail, disconnect any breather hoses that are in the way, and then unplug all the injector wires. On the other side of the motor, I'll disconnect the fuel feed and return lines. Lastly, the spark plug wires will need to be disconnected, leaving a clear path for the fuel rail and injectors to be removed. Alright, so here's the fuel rail now removed from the car. So now I'm just going to compare the new injector to the old injector and cut the fuel line so that it can sit in the same place as the old one. Okay, so after installing these eBay injectors and trying to start the car would not start at all. So afterwards I did some testing just to make sure that the injectors were the problem. I pulled the fuel injector rail and I tried to start the car and no fuel was coming out of the injectors. So I guess I got what I deserve for ordering eBay parts. So I went online and I actually ordered these injectors, which look pretty much identical to what's in there. But I ordered them from Godzilla Raceworks, and these are specifically for this vehicle, and this company specializes in Datsun parts, as well as these injectors actually come with a lifetime warranty. So I just hooked one of the injectors up. I put a towel under the injector and cranked the car. As you can see, there's a wet spot there where the injector sprayed the fuel. So I know that that injector is firing, and I did the same test with the eBay injectors and none of them are firing. And just for your guys' information, I did a little more research into what's going on, and I found out that fuel injectors come with different impedances, and my guess is that the old injectors were firing even though they're leaking. This eBay set is not firing, and this new set from Godzilla Raceworks is firing, so that tells me there's an impedance problem. Pretty much the resistance in the eBay injectors are not proper for this car, even though the listing says that they're exactly for this vehicle for this year. Pretty much a bad posting. And I know that the eBay injectors work because I hooked them up to this little 12-volt battery here, and they do fire, so it tells me that it's 100% some type of impedance problem. So I got the right injectors with the proper impedance from Godzilla Raceworks. They were the most expensive, so I'm gonna hook them all up and try to start the car and see if she fires up. So I got all the eBay injectors off the rail. Now I just have to transfer these little pieces and cut the fuel line on the new injector and get them all on the rail, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, I got all the new Godzilla Raceworks fuel injectors on the rail. Let's go ahead and try to put this thing back in the car. Okay, so I think I have everything hooked back up. Hopefully it's all back together correctly. Got the keys here. Let's try to fire her up. Hey, let's go! go! Yo! Burning like a kitten. The exhaust is a little white, a little smoky. That's okay, but it doesn't like stink. Like before, it was running really, really rich and it stank. It just like wasn't firing good, and now it just engine sounds great. The exhaust isn't too milky, and the car seems to be running good, so I'll take it for a little test drive. Also has no gas, so we gotta fill her up. Dude, this is also like the first time this car has been drivable in like 3 years. This car went down like 2 or 3 years ago, so I'm really excited to take it on the road. Oh, we're back on the road, baby. Let's go. All right, I gotta hurry up and hit this gas station on the corner here. I haven't driven this car in so long. Dude, first drive in like a year. Literally on E though. Luckily there's this gas station right by my house here. A little fresh gas in her, just enough to drive her around and see how she does. All right, so I'm on a red light here. I kind of forgot how much this car kind of sucks in first gear, so I'll show you. Whoa, there we go. A little slow and sputtery in first and second. Although now that the car's warmed up a little bit, I think it's better. I think I do remember when it was cold, it kind of drove like shit. All right, there we have it. After like 3 years of trying to diagnose this thing, we haven't fixed up. It was the fuel injectors. So the car's back and driving. Not driving great, but it never drove great before. I'd love to redo the motor, but that's a lot of time and a lot of money. And if you guys haven't been following my other videos, my Subaru blew up and I just finished rebuilding that motor, getting it on the road, which is why I took a hiatus from working on the 280zx. But the Subaru's running good now, so we'll be back to working on this car. I actually have a bunch of parts laying around for it that I've been collecting. So future videos I'll be selling those. Plus, who knows, maybe down the road I'll rebuild this motor. I can hear it popping in the background, so. Alright, well that's it for today's vlog. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.